All right. So, welcome to Halifacts Oasis, episode, God, I don't even know, 24. But it's actually part 2 of the Board of Supervisors meeting that went on and on and on and on. Now, this segment, there's going to be another one, but this segment has to me what was the best part of the meeting, which was Judge Joel Cunningham doing a presentation on this new recovery house that's proposed to be built in Halifax County. Pay attention to the slides. I don't know how well you can read those once this becomes a video. Sorry, I was eating. But I need to try and get these PowerPoints and presentations like the VDOT thing to have within my podcast video, because I think that would be helpful, because it's hard to read and I'm not steady. I do have a new piece of camera equipment coming, though, that's going to help me steady better. Anyway, but he talks about it's like half the price to put people in a rehab than it is to put them in jail. He really knows his stuff as far as addiction, and like most of the rest of the world, they treat it like a mental illness, not as a crime. So there's just so many pieces to it. It was impressive. It was inspiring. And I'm so damn excited about this. I hope I can be a part of it in the future. Since I have a personal side to this, it had a lot more import. But I'm going to be talking a lot more about that in Recovery Court and Judge Cunningham later. So let me move on to present to you part 2. There's some more citizen comments and the VDOT projects and how they prioritized them. And because I went through so many cameras, it's really difficult for me to edit this. I did the best I could, so I hope it's all right. Anyway, all right, see you on part 3.
My name is Basil Abdel Jalil. I live Deerview Trail, South Boston, Virginia. I also want a couple topics I want to talk about. I know the county administrator's got a job to do, and I appreciate that. But I think Allison overall was doing a good job and doing an honest job, where there was so much turmoil with the old regime, and you know, one day we'll have to sit down with the county administrator and just show them all my stuff that we have piled up over years and years and years of stuff. Also, some of the comments, and I haven't commented on Facebook at all myself, but I've read some of the comments on Facebook. And Mr. Oakes, I don't really know you that well, to be honest with you. I think I dealt with you a couple times at Smart Ford when I picked up parts when you worked there. And Rocky Smart, you know, I think you got a puppy from me 25 years ago, a Chihuahua puppy. Yes, Randy Martin brought it to you. So, you know, I think being public officials, you know, you have to tone down some of your comments that you make, where everybody can see, what what you're saying, and it doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't really, benefit to. It only hurts the community because it divides everybody. You know, you know, um, in the whole scheme of things, even though I'm from Palestine, and I support Palestine 100%, and I condemn what Israel's doing. I still live here in Halifax, and I've got 9 8 grandkids and going to be 9 this weekend. And they're all going to be raised here. And, you know, I don't want them to live the same way that I've been living for the last 6 years. And my kids have been living, fighting this turmoil for no reason. You know, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, but, you know, I support a little bit of sanction on the board to we have to be more.
Thank you, Dave. Your time's up. Sorry. Thanks for calling.
Palestine.
Good evening. My name is Erica Detsby. I reside at 1047 Dudley Road. I, too, would like to propose the use of possibly short-term funding that could be allocated to fix the track. Clearly, there is a need for it to be done quickly, as we've heard from many people here tonight. So maybe if we utilize the money that way, that it can be done in a timely manner. I would also suggest allocating money for the landscape architecture to redesign Edmonds Park. It connects to me in a couple different ways. I like to take my daughter there to utilize the playground often, and it's frequently puddled everywhere, right underneath the swings. We can't use them. She likes the sand pit by the diggers, and we can't use any of those while we're there. The track personally connects to us because my daughter, even at just 5 years old, likes to run. We participated in a 5K on Saturday, and she just took off running with her friend. So I can see her getting involved with Girls on the Run before too long at all. And then I'd also like to suggest in the redesigning of Edmonds Park to propose including a dog park. I personally have a couple of dogs that both love to run. I do not have a fenced-in yard. I have tried to let my dog run my backyard, and he's taken off. Really set me and my 5-year-old running after him. So we frequent the Danville Dog Park, and we have to drive, 55 minutes to get there. And 55 minutes back. It takes a good 3 to 4 hours of our time. We really enjoy it. It's a big space, but it'd be really nice if we had one closer to home. There's really not even a lot of good, safe walking spots in the county where I feel safe to walk both of my dogs and my daughter at the same time. I wouldn't be surprised if some of y'all have spotted me trying to struggle with 2 leashes and keep my 5-year-old reined in. It can be really difficult. The track is, of course, one of those places where we could, but it's currently not really an ideal space to be. The dog park, too, doesn't need to have a source of water like a lot of parks do have. When we visit Danville, we all just contribute by bringing a gallon of water, and there's a couple of dog bowls there that we can pour into them. So really all you need is like a big fenced-in area of just decent size so the dogs can run off their energy so that we don't have them bouncing off the walls doing parkour at home. And that's about all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Randy Bailey. I'm in District 6. I thank God I ain't in District 3. I met Ron, but he come up in my truck out there February 2nd when I was parked out there. We had a couple words there. And every time I say something, he said, my attorney says we don't have to do this. My attorney says we don't have to do that. And I told him I don't give a flip about you, and I don't give a flip about your attorney, but I use that. good word. So we had a meeting. Well, he come up to me and tell me, you want to turn pages out of the Bible. Well, I hadn't done it in 12 years. Me and you I tried to get the truth to him. But, that was the first time. February night. Second, me and you had a meeting with Ron. I appreciate you coming down. And you see, I presented it on the table there when I was at the Bible and the apple, which none of them knows what that means. But as I talked with him, when he come in, he disrespected me and my wife. My wife is well educated, a doctor in many meetings, and I had to go through many meetings, and I even was undercover for the FBI years ago. So when I started talking, he tit for tat, when I say, I got a photographic memory, I have too. But, he couldn't remember something. But, when he come into that meeting was just disrespectful. He come in and sat down, right at me. Anytime you have what we learn in the FBI, you got somebody coming up right on the edge, watch out, the lies will start. But, he didn't acknowledge me and my wife or nothing. He just right in front of me, he said, "Let's get started." I took my coat off, I was ready for battle. But I was calm as I could be, wasn't I, Larry? It was beautiful, touch of class upon it. So, when I brought that up about outside there, and, he's telling this, I seen you turn the pages out, which I call one, I can start back. But, he didn't even acknowledge me and my wife, you know that. Didn't acknowledge y'all as we sat down there. Every time I'd say something, he's right at me. We even talked about my God, too, what we did, but I think his God was Satan. But when he left. Not even acknowledging me and my wife or thanking me or what. But my wife said he went out of there just mean, mad as ever. That's just disrespectful for a man running a meeting.
Your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I would like to add that, I was at the meeting.
Yes, sir.
And I found Mr. Brady to be very cordial and very, and we had two different outlooks on that. But anyway, that's two different people, two different opinions. Thank you for your comments.
Well, I appreciate that, Larry, and I appreciate you, coming there. But, most county administrators here don't last for 4 years to 6 years. He's got 3 strikes against him in my book. The centerpiece really is you. It wasn't for the Holy Spirit that I've been talking to you.
Your time is up.
I'm sorry I don't have any fire and brimstone, y'all. Glenn Williamson, again at your VIR, and y'all have heard me grumble about Foster Road, so you're probably tired of it. Tonight, when I left home, coming down Foster Road, I saw a car coming down Corner Road. I figured it was going to turn left and follow me down there. Any of you familiar with Foster Road, you know that road is barely a mile long and barely wide enough for 2 vehicles to meet and pass. Well, this little hot shot in his Miata passed me on that road, as narrow as it is. I've said before, eventually some of that VIR traffic is going to cause a catastrophic crash on that road. I hope it's not me, but I also hope that as many times as I have talked about this thing, that it's on record that it is an issue. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Thirsty Sherman, 4101 Lowry Road, Virgilon, Virginia. I'm not going to complain about anything tonight. I just want to point out a few things. Mr. Claiborne, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we didn't get that budget tonight. I understand your reason, but I still feel like it should have been presented to us tonight. The second thing, I do hope that as the leaders of this county, that you help fight this referendum that is so crazily worded that we're supposed to vote on April the 21st. Third thing, I don't know if y'all are aware, but I'm going to kind of pick on Robbie and Jeff. There is a gentleman out there, he goes by Tack Gnome 2.0. He is really saying some very, very negative things about this county and people in this county. I know there's no way that we can probably stop it, but he's not even in the United States. He's in Taiwan, and then I heard yesterday that he is in Ukraine. So I don't know what we can do about that, but he's spreading a lot of things about a lot of people in this county that we need to somehow address. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Edmonds Park, that is a great thing for this county. You've heard a lot of people here tonight talk about that. I do want you to address one thing. Some people are charged to use Edmonds Park. Other people are not. I really do wish that you would look into that and see what the rules are. Who has to pay and who doesn't have to pay. The last thing, I know, or I'm assuming that in this crowd out here, there are some classmates from 1988. Tisha's classmates. She is a two-time Olympian. She graduated with us. She's a great person. I believe her name or something is dedicated to the track here. I greatly urge you to keep that at the track, to keep her memory alive, to show the kids that are coming up that you can be better than just Halifax County. Look at what Tisha did. It's remarkable. The class of 88 is remarkable. So I really hope that when you do whatever it is you need to do with the track, and I know that there is money there for the athletic complex, it should be part of that, that Tisha's name remains associated with that track. Thank you for your time. Y'all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I'd like the record to reflect that we're not going to talk about the budget tonight. It was just a lot.
Oh, it was all, yes.
Yes, I'd just like to make that clear
Okay.
for the record.
Hello, my name is Sandy Slayton, and I live at 1031 Carolyn Court, Halifax. I'm an avid tennis player. I'm one of the tennis assistant coaches at the high school. I'm an avid pickleball player, and I just want to urge you to focus on recreational activities for adults and families here. We have a lot of programs for kids, and that is fantastic, but we're very limited. Pickleball, we have some daytime hours at both gyms in Halifax and South Boston, but there's nowhere for anyone who works to play pickleball, which is the #1 growing sport in the nation. We have one pickleball court at Edmonds Park, but the way pickleball works is people gather, and there's usually 3 or 4 or up to 6 or 10 courts. People gather and they play with different people, and they don't have to wait. We don't have that opportunity here. That's what we have during the daytime at both gyms. There's a lot of people come, 20 people, a lot of times 24 people. We play on 3 courts in South Boston and 2 courts in Halifax. Sometimes we have to wait, but it's a social thing, and there's people of all ages. We have people in their 80s that are playing with us. We have people that are teens that come to play. And in the surrounding counties, there are a lot more opportunities for both pickleball and tennis. Tennis is a sport that you can play your whole life. We work very hard to promote tennis for everybody. The tennis team has a clinic in the summer, and we teach people all year long who want to play tennis. And we have seen a big increase in people coming to the course, but they are in dangerous condition now. Both the middle school, which that is a shame that court has just been abandoned for so many years, and the high school, which is getting to be in very similar to. And I know there are plans to refurbish courts. We don't care who pays for them, but we need access for this community, like other communities all around us have, for people to, for adults and families to play and be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? If not, citizens' comments section of the meeting is now concluded.
The Smart Scale project program. So application 1, and Carson will kind of give a presentation on each specific project to answer any questions for public hearing. But we have a turning lane on Highway 58, Route 751. We have the Sinai Road pedestrian sidewalk project. We have the 501 Greens Folly Road intersection improvement to add a dual turning lane. We have 2 roundabouts, one going to Sinai Road and Manor Road intersection, and a roundabout at Sinai Road and Greens Folly, and a roundabout. So, Mr. Chair, we'll let Carson from VDOT to present a small overview of each specific project before we open the public hearing for citizen comments.
Good evening, board. It's good to see you all out there for a couple weeks. Hope you're all doing well, and apologize for the rainy afternoon and rainy evening. I'm here to talk to you all about some smart scale funding for this round of smart scale. This is a follow-up to our February 17th meeting that was a couple weeks ago, where we went over the 5 initial projects. So a quick overview of this presentation. VDOT recommends 5 smart scale projects for the upcoming round. 5 of these, 3 of these will be within the town of South Boston's limits, and the other 2 are solely within the county. This is a follow-up to the board presentation from the 17th. We'll go through each application and discuss comments and concerns, and then we'll have public feedback. And then tonight we are seeking a motion on which projects we want to move forward with for the upcoming round of smart scale. A quick overview of the smart scale schedule. It's an even year funding stream. I mentioned this at the last presentation. I won't go too far in depth into that. We are currently at that first block there for March. The pre-application period has opened, and it will run from March 2nd to April 1st. In that time, we will put in the preliminary information for the applications, and then the application period will open up in June, where we will refine those materials, get a more defined sketch and cost estimate, and then those projects will be scored and funded, and we'll more than likely get those scores in January at the staff recommended funding scenario. A little bit more about the stages of smart scale. This is another slide from the last presentation. Pre-application goes from March 1st, or the first business day, to April 1st, and that is the meeting where we will determine which applications we want to go in, input that preliminary information into the portal, and then full application goes from June 1st to August 1st, and that is where we will require that board resolution of support no later than July 15th. We want to aim for probably around June. June is our date that I'll be coming back to you all, doing another presentation on smart scale and seeing where our projects land at that point, up to that point. I will mention that these applications will be submitted by the Southside Planning District Commission with Chad Neese. He's done this in previous rounds before, where he has taken the load off of the county staff and county administration, so they can just oversee the materials that are going into the application, and he will be doing the grunt work of putting those applications into the portal itself. So I'll go over our 5 applications. This is all information that has been seen before, and please note that none of these concept sketches, they're not final in any way. These are just simply drawings on a map. When these projects get scored and funded and go into the design portion of the project life cycle, they are subject to change. So this is the first project, US 51 and Route 751. This is a turn lane improvement, simply putting a right turn lane from 58 onto Piney Grove Road. Any questions from the board on this project? This is a resubmittal from the previous round of smart scale. And listed there is its score, so it's scored in the bottom half of the projects. We had 12 projects in the last round of smart scale, and it scored 7 out of 12. Skip 7 out of 12. Hearing nothing, we'll move on to the next project. This is the Sinai Road Sidewalk Project. This is one snippet of the recommendation from West Side Drive over to the Sunny Quick Shop. This is to construct a sidewalk, getting rid of that temporary sidewalk improvement that is there, and constructing a full sidewalk. This scored last in the last round from Smart Scale. This is only one segment of that project going from West Side to the Sunny Quick Shop.
You said it scored last?
It scored last of the 12 projects we had, yes.
I received a lot of calls from a lot of constituents in that area. And most of them are more concerned about the roundabouts than they are about the sidewalks. It's safe to say that's a need for the sidewalk. Because if you have driven on Sinai Road with that temporary, it's more of a safe hazard than not having. It would be better for them to be just walking on the side of the road and the way they have it switched.
Agreed.
And thank you for agreeing. And so most of them now are saying that the roundabouts are going to cause a lot of problems too, because we have a lot of tractor trailers in that area. And in order to construct the roundabout, you're going to have to continue with the lane. So that's a big concern also, because they think there will be more of a danger with a roundabout. With tractor trailers have to go around, you go into a road, and just happen to traffic lights on both ends.
And that's a valid concern. We make sure when we design our roundabouts, all of our roundabouts are designed to what we call WB67, which is the largest type of truck available. We make sure all the roundabouts are able to, all the trucks are able to make that movement, and it's still safe for all the general users involved.
There's going to be a lot of taking of land for them to have that problem.
There will be some right-of-way takes involved, but that's not something we have confirmed yet. That's on currently as it stands now. Our concepts are just simply the improvement on the land, and nothing has been determined where it will land.
I hope y'all do consider a lot of that traffic that's going through there, log trucks. And log trucks are very easy to turn over. So I hope y'all somehow or another make it wide enough, because trucks are going from 53 foot to 55 foot now. So, that could create problems, so you might want to look at your future of the length of those trucks. And that sidewalk, are you going down the right side of Sinai Road?
Yeah, it's going down the side that's within the South Boston, town of South Boston jurisdiction.
It'll be on the right side.
It's going to be
Going south will be on the right side.
Okay.
going over.
And this is one of the 3 projects that can be submitted by the town of South Boston. If the board wants to move forward with all 5 applications, the town of South Boston is eligible to submit any project that is within their jurisdiction as well. They will be required to submit a resolution of support, same as the county in this instance. So we need to get both counties involved. And I'll be meeting with the town council next week at their March meeting to determine these projects as well, to get town buy-in. So this is the 3rd and final resubmittal from the previous round of Smart Scale. This is the 501 and Greens Folly Road intersection improvement. This is to convert the intersection of 501 to a dual left configuration. For people going northbound 501 will be able to make two left turns onto Greens Folly. And then by that point, we'll be widening Greens Folly Road as well to accommodate for not only the dual lefts, but also for the lefts and rights onto northbound and southbound 501. This project scored in the middle of the previous round of Smart Scale, and it is currently ranked for a potential for safety improvement on our internal intersection database as well. So it is a high safety intersection. And if the points were a little bit higher last round, it would have gotten funded. But unfortunately, there was no money left, and this project was the second. This was the project that did not get caught in that Smart Scale funding. Any questions from the board on this improvement? Moving on to the 2 new improvements that we recommend from this round of Smart Scale. I want to make it clear that I don't want this to be interpreted as VDOT pushing these alternatives on the county board. If all of you all are not comfortable with these improvements, we are fine to drop them, reanalyze them, and come back to them in 2028 during the next round of Smart Scale. So the first improvement is to convert the intersection of Mountain Road and Sinai Road into a single lane roundabout. As you can see here, the crashes from 2021 to 2025, 1 severe injury crash, 5 minor injury crashes, and 3 suspected injury crashes. And this concept sketch is not final. This is just a image that our location and design team put together to simulate what a roundabout would be at this location, and it is subject to change. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll move on to the 5th and final application, which is another roundabout improvement at Sinai Road in Greens Folly. This one has significantly more crashes than the previous location, with 2 severe injury crashes, 6 minor injury crashes, and 4 suspected injury crashes. And this project will tie into the Sinai sidewalk project. You can see up at the top left, the sidewalk in yellow is the Sinai Road project. And if both of these projects were to get funded together, they would be bundled, and they would be worked on by the same L&D engineer to ensure that there's no clashing of opinions, and make sure that one engineer handles both projects at the same time. Any questions from the board?
Just quickly, I noticed these last 2 represent a fair amount of injuries and so forth. I'm saying you're doing this trying to get away from that.
Yes, sir.
And there seem to be more here than the first 2, with the exception of the pedestrian. I mean, I understand that versus there. Why are these rated below that?
This is not a rating. These are just the 4 projects together. And this is not a ranking. We actually have a ranking closer to the end of this presentation that goes through all 5 applications together. This is just these applications listed out in no order particular. Speaking of that list, we have 2 lists here. The left is going to be your smart scale feasibility, while my left will be the smart scale feasibility. And on the right is going to be safety and operational benefit from our traffic engineering division. So as you can see here, the roundabout and US 501 Greens Folly intersection are going to be your 2 most improved from a smart scale feasibility standpoint. The first one is because of the amount of crashes, and the second one is because the crash situation at 501 got worse. So if the 501 Greens Folly Road was in the middle last round, theoretically it should score higher this round because the crashes got worse there. And then you have your final 3, Sinai Road and Mountain Road and roundabout, the sidewalk improvement and US 501 and Route 751. At current, those 2 projects, from a cost standpoint, the Sinai Road sidewalk, the reason why it didn't score well last round is because of the cost. Our L&D engineers are looking to get that cost down to make the project more competitive. And the 751 improvement had no safety data there for us to have a successful score. We're still hoping we can put it in, so hopefully it gets caught in that leftover funding that's available for our district. And then on the right here is our safety and operational benefit from our traffic engineering division. This is just their judgment. This is a preliminary based on the improvements, based on the crashes there. They recommend that the 2 roundabouts will have the most safety and operational benefit. And then the Greens Folly Road intersection improvements is 3rd. The Sinai sidewalk improvement will benefit the safety of the pedestrians and the operations. And then that 751 is last.
So you're saying that, your conclusion that with the roundabouts would be a lot safer?
Yes, sir. Ranking these 5 together, that's the conclusion that both planning and traffic engineering came together. I do want to note the smart scale feasibility is just ranking the 5 projects in Halifax County, not ranking all the other projects in our district as well. It's just these 5 projects that we have in Halifax County. Yes, sir.
Another pot of money for 58 and 751 other than smart scale.
There are other funding streams that we offer. We offer TAP, which is more for our multimodal improvements, and we also offer revenue sharing, which is another funding stream that we have. However, both of those have matching components that are required for those projects to be successful. TAP offers a 20% project match, and revenue sharing is a 50-50 county and VDOT split. And those are options we can broach after this round of smart scale, because there might be opportunities for the Sinai sidewalk project. If it's not successful this round, we can look at putting it potentially in for TAP in an upcoming round. We can discuss if that's beneficial after this round of smart scale, based on the scores. I'm going to get back to this slide in a second, but I have a conclusionary slide. So VDOT recommends the 5 following smart scale applications be submitted by April 1st. The 5 applications are listed there. They will be done by the Southside PDC. Motion of support will be needed for these applications, and if all 5 applications are supported, then we'll have to have the town of South Boston submit the Sinai Sidewalk Project, the Greens Folly Roundabout, or US 501 and Greens Folly intersection improvements. They'll have to submit one of those, and based on the meeting we'll have next week, we'll determine which one that'll be next week with that town council. Do I have any final questions?
Is there any negative effect of approving all 5?
Not to my knowledge, no. If we support all 5 projects, we get them in, it guarantees at least they get in and there's a chance for them to get funded.
Any other questions prior to the public hearing?
Thank you all. Do you want me to go back to the previous slides so you can see all the projects listed together? Or do you want to just stay on the conclusion slide here?
I feel like you previously did.
Go ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you.
May I ask what's driving that turn lane at 58 and 751? Is it the water plant down there doing that?
The water plant.
Good evening, Chairman of the Board and Board members. My name is Anthony Womack. I live on Sinai Road. I vote in District 3. My address is 507 Cadence Lane. Years ago, I came before the board and we pushed for the sidewalk. Supervisor Clavin, he came out and walked the street with me. Reverend Panel, he walked the street with me. The mayor, Ed Owens, he walked the street with me. Most of them couldn't walk long because they were scared. It was that dangerous. And so that's the honest way possible that I can explain it. It should not be a normal that people walk that road in fear. It should be normalized. Those gentlemen could not finish walking because they were scared. I walked on the outside to shelter them so they could be embraced. Mayor Owens, it just could not be done, right? Last time I came with people who had gotten hit on that road. And also another guy came, his brother had died from being hit on that road. So I don't know why those numbers were not included in his chart. Once the temporary road was put down, because of what was brought, Mr. Simpson, he called and said that they were able to find some funding, because the boards met, and also VDOT found some funding to get the temporary road done until the permanent sidewalk could be put down. Now we're at that point where we need the permanent road. It should have been some statistics in there. When that permanent road was put down, an oil truck ran off the ditch and laid overside because the roadway is too small. Another vehicle did the same thing. It's too tight going through there. The pylons get hit. It's an eyesore. There's a lot going on with the trailer park getting redone with houses. Traffic is going to increase. We are getting a new playground, so traffic is going to increase. And so I don't know why it's so low, but it needs to be moved up because it is a problem. It's going to continue to be a problem. And so I ask that you all and VDOT look at what else statistics they have, because there are at least 7,000 vehicles that travel that road a day. That's a lot, along with the log trucks, which we don't have a problem with. And Mr. Hodges said it's just so fortunate that he got good drivers that they haven't hit anybody, and they're able to keep them on the side of the road, because I itch towards the middle lane because it's so tight. And that's honest, and I'm sure if anybody else rides through there, they do the same thing. So I ask you guys to do what's right for us, for our safety needs, and for anybody else to travel up and down that road.
You were talking about permanent road, but you're talking about the sidewalk.
I'm talking about the sidewalks, yes. Alongside our road.
You kept saying permanent road.
I kept saying what?
Permanent road. But you're referring to the permanent.
Oh, permanent. Yeah, we want a permanent sidewalk on the road.
Just want to make.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I've got one question, Chairman. Now, is that, widening that road also? Is that, when they put the sidewalk in?
No, I think they're going to have to take some property.
But the lane wide.
Yeah.
Is that in?
They would have like widen the lane.
Yeah,
they give it.
2 foot more, I mean.
Yeah. If they give it to
You're
the
gonna have to take the length of the sidewalk. Then you have to have your right sidewalk. Yes, okay.
Good evening, Chairman Rowland, and the board, members of the Board of Supervisors. My name is Avis Terry Williams. I'm a lifelong resident of Saniyal Road, 2007 Saniyal Road. And to piggyback on what Mr. Womack said, that sidewalk is very much needed in front of Westside Apartments. I know that fatality on Saniyal Road because my uncle was the driver who accidentally hit a pedestrian. It was his wife's nephew, and he died as a result of that. I know of another pedestrian strike where a citizen had a broken leg, and another citizen was struck in that area. I also want to thank, I don't know if the board had anything to do with it, or if you don't have anything to do with it, but thank you, whoever has something to do with double lining from West Side to Cascadee down at bottom. I know I've written letters over the past years about how dangerous that bottom is because it's a blind spot. So thank you for double lining that. And if you would go a step further, double line the whole road from one end to the other because, as it's been said, it's a lot of traffic on Saniyal Road. It's a very, very dangerous road. I've had 4 accidents right in my yard. One of them was a fatality. One of them was me being rear-ended in the back by a truck who was following me too closely and jackknifed in the back of the truck, got me in the rear end. So there's a lot of traffic. So please consider putting that much-needed sidewalk in front of Westside Apartments. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Champion. I do have a comment about the roundabout. Having worked on Saniyal Road, it is a large commercial truck thoroughfare. Not only is it H&M, Kajaya, we have other companies that come through there. You also have Hitachi that uses that to go to advanced manufacturing where they have storage. RTP trucks come through there. Woodcraft comes through there. Schultz has storage on Fan Drive also. It is going to be basically impossible for a log truck at 54 foot to make a roundabout with a tail swing of about 7 foot hanging off the back. It's not going to be safe. Mountain Road and Saniyal Road would probably be cheaper just to put up a light. For that road, the roundabouts are not going to be safe for a commercial vehicle. I think that VDOT needs to take a longer time and study the amount of commercial traffic versus the amount of pedestrian traffic or residential traffic that uses that road. Mr. Hodges has been there a good 35 years and grown his business. I don't see how putting a roundabout in there is going to help out any of the commercial drivers that come through there, whether it's delivering logs, roads, BMG Metals comes through there. Mr. Smart, I'm sorry I have to wake you up. And, we need to make improvements for the residential safety, but we also need to spend more time making the study as to whether or not these commercial vehicles that have grown from small business to large business in this county can make it with roundabouts. Thank you.
Jerry White. So listen, I grew up in Saniyal. We have always basically had to walk in a ditch to get back and forth to the store from West Side or Lincoln Drive. As he was showing his slides, it was interesting to me that the pedestrian accidents weren't considered. I would ask that the pedestrian accidents be considered in this decision for the roundabouts. I ask that the sidewalks take place and consider the safety of the people of the community before the roundabouts. Thank you.
Yes.
Do you know what the cost is going to be for any of these? And I don't think the roundabouts would be good really anywhere in this county, but I do think that the sidewalk over there is of major importance. But do we know the cost on any of this yet?
They do have some estimates on it, but this is all Virginia Department of Transportation funded sources. It's not county funded sources for it.
So we don't have to pay anything for it?
No, it's VDOT funded source.
I have a question. I think, didn't we not approve a solar farm off Sinai Road recently?
Yes.
Is there any way they can help with some of this project? Get some of that money from them? Yeah, but, well, the thing about it, you need road and sidewalk.
Yeah, but these are fund out. That's what you were talking about.
Well, I
Maybe
do
the money
know.
could be used for something else.
Okay, all right, but I do know with that traffic from the solar farm equipment and stuff, that if they do it before then, they'll tear that road off pieces.
I do know that the last project was approved was a smaller solar facility.
Yeah.
And we had a very difficult time getting what site money we got everything to the sides they were trying to do as far as cleanup to do like
But
that.
I do know that Sinai deserves this because that little piece of fencing they put up, that's the most dangerous thing in the world they could have done.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello again. So just to say again, I'm Erica Dubsky. I live at 1047 Dudley Road, and I've been at the residence for a year. I've only been in Halifax County for 2 years, right about this time 2 years ago. And I'll just say that it was within my first few weeks to a month of being in the county that I drove down Sinai Road for the very first time. And I was shocked to see the sidewalk be in that temporary state that it was. And then about the 1 year mark of me living here, this time last year, I was looking to purchase a house. And I actually really, really liked a house on a street off of Sinai Road. And the sidewalk being in the state that it was still for a year of me living here, not seeing any changes or improvement, it was a major deterrent. It was really, truly the only deterrent that I had. Because, as I said, I really like the house, but I'm a mother of a 5-year-old daughter. I have 2 dogs, and seeing that safety wasn't seeming to be a concern at the time, it was really a deal breaker for me. So, do take that sidewalk into consideration, please. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, board. I'm Martha Below, and I live at 1183 Sinai Road, Southwest Virginia. I do not agree with the roundabout. I don't think we need it in Sinai. There's too much traffic, and people do not know how to drive. Also, the sidewalk. The sidewalk has been an issue for the past 2 years. And so far, it is an eyesore. My mom lived at 2180, right in the midst of all of it. You cannot see coming out of her driveway because there are blind spots both ways. You have transfer trucks, you have logging trucks, we have school buses, we have high school kids that get off the bus in a ditch because there's no road on the right side for them to get off of. And now we got
company, another company coming in. What is that thing? Anyway, it's gonna add to more traffic. At night, all you hear are these trucks going up and down the road. You got all these bikes going up and down the road. I mean, all times of night is noise. And these guys are in the street on these four-wheelers or bikes or whatever, and no one can catch them. They're not doing anything about it. So are you doing the sidewalk for them or just for who? There's not a lot of people walking and that used to walk. Now, we used to walk Sinai Road. We didn't have a sidewalk. We knew how to walk to the store and back home. It seems like you're just taking in, I don't know. I know there's one guy handicapped, and I believe that you all are taking him into a lot. But he's everywhere on his little scooter. You know, he's everywhere. So you just can't consider one person. You have to consider the whole community. You have to consider the people that have lived there all their lives. And with this new solar panel coming in, that's going to be more traffic. That's going to be more traffic added to Sinai. And I have met with DDOT. I talked to DDOT, and you know, they say it's not them. They say it's South Boston. South Boston say DDOT. You go back and forth. You don't know who to talk to. But I do know that my mom has to pay double taxes, and she's probably the only one on that road paying double taxes. So I think that whatever you do, you need to consider the tax that's going up and take other people into your decisions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, gentlemen. My name is A.K.L. Chapel Jr. Live at 9175 Mountain Road, Farmville, Virginia. Roundabouts in Sinai, Virginia Sinai Road. With the trucking, haul trucks and stuff like that, it's very difficult to go through a roundabout on a large vehicle. You've got to have a pretty wide service. And then you got switching lanes, you got people that, like the young lady just said here before, people don't really know how to drive in a roundabout. And they can run up under a tractor trailer or something like that on both ends. If you need my suggestion of what I've seen in Sinai, Greensboro River Road, you need to put a turning lane to the right going back into Sinai from Summer. And that would help a whole lot of traffic coming through there. You've already got a stoplight there. If people pay attention to stoplights and quit trying to run, you don't have accidents. On the other end, 360 Mountain Road and Sinai Road, same thing with the trucks. And these logging trucks, when they're loaded and they're trying to make a turn, if you watch them, and if you ever driven one, they have a tendency, the trailer wants to dance on them. Wants to get up on one side. And I've driven trucks, not logging trucks, I've driven big trucks. I did a rollback service for 20 years. 360 Mountain Road. That's you can fix the turning lane a little bit wider right there to help the trucks coming there to Halifax, going back into Sinai Road, where they can make that turn a little easier. You're talking about, I mean, I know the state's looking at it, but we got other things in the county that I think we can put our money towards and we can get VDOT to put towards than trying to put a roundabout. For some reason, the roundabout wants to come into Halifax County and South Boston. At this time, I really don't think it's feasible. So, ask y'all to try to go against the roundabouts and try to do some other routes. They're a whole lot cheaper instead of buying a lot of land and tearing down some buildings and stuff like that.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I'll close the public hearing. So next, we need to consider the projects we want to support for the small scale applications. I know it's a lot of comments about roundabouts, but it's my understanding. Mr. Easley, we do have a roundabout that's been approved, it's on the books, it's getting ready to be constructed, do we not?
Yeah, we have one in low end of Halifax,
Yeah.
Halifax. But I understand be constructed maybe part of next year.
Yeah.
Part of next year.
To be if those higher severity crashes end up falling out of that 5-year time window. But there's no saying what crashes happen in the next 2 years in 2028 when we do that round of smart scale. So it's hard to really tell if it's going to improve from a safety benefit, from just from what we know from a safety and operations benefit. It will positively improve those intersections. Whether that's in 2 years, it's now, we will still support whatever alternative the county wants to bring at those intersections.
So y'all evaluate every 3 years?
Smart scale starts every even year. So the next round will be at 2028.
Any more questions? So, kind of what I'm gathering from the board is we want to submit 3 projects, and the order will be signed out sidewalk, green spotted turn lanes, and 58 turn lane. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
With a widening of the sign now. As much as possible,
We can request that, that's not part of the smart scale.
Do we need a motion for that, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, we need a motion.
I'd so move that we take those projects in the order that Mr. Chairman just spelled out.
Okay, we have a motion to submit 3 projects to the VDOT small scale projects in the order of sign out, sidewalk, green spotted turn lanes, 58 turn lane. Motion made by Supervisor Little and seconded by Supervisor McDowell. All in favor? Wait a minute. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, we're getting to presentations. The first is a presentation from the Joint Commission on Recovery, Housing, and the Honorable Judge Joel Cunningham here to make that presentation. You have the floor.
Mr. Chairman and board members, I want to thank you all again for allowing me to come before you the second time tonight, which are the only 2 times I've ever been before the board. My name is Joel Cunningham, for the record. I live in 1190 Burns Trail, Halifax, Virginia. I am here this evening to discuss with you a residential recovery program that I think would be mighty beneficial to this county. I have presented to some of you already. I met with several of you, some of you, the new members, I have not had an opportunity to meet. But I don't want to bore you, okay? And because you've heard it already. And so I will be very brief as I go about talking about this. We'll try to leave a little room to answer any questions that you might have. Do I operate the slides? Can I do this with this? Okay. I am chairing a group called the Joint Committee for Recovery Housing, Inc., which was created about 3 years ago at the behest of the Supreme Court of Virginia to see what we can do to ameliorate the problem involving high recidivism rates, having people incarcerated for offenses who are not dangerous, to try to save communities money, that type of thing, and really try to help people get into recovery. I think that's the main ambition we have, to help people get into recovery and to stop the generational issue with substance abuse. And I know where in the world I can read my own thing there, so I don't know what it is. Go to the next slide. All right. Okay. is to create a 100-bed residential recovery center on a 50-acre tract of land in Halifax County. We want to have a 100-bed center, as I indicated. This will be for women and men. And let me just make it clear, this residential recovery center is not for hardened criminals. This is not for folks who have committed heinous crimes or violent crimes, this type of thing. These are people who have committed small-time criminal offenses, usually in connection with trying to get drugs. So that's kind of what we're all about. We also plan to have a residential on the residents, a program to train folks with workforce development building. And then we're also going to have 32 step-up apartments for those people who've been in the recovery center for a sufficient period of time, who are well into recovery, who can now live independently. But this will be a drug-free environment. There will be no drugs on this in all our campus. We will test people randomly to make sure that drugs are not being used. And for those of you who have not had any experience in being around people who have severe substance use disorders, most of them don't have good teeth. Their dental hygiene is really, really poor. It's embarrassing for them. In many ways, it stymies recovery. It prevents them from getting to recovery because they're so ashamed of themselves. This is our service area. I have approached most counties in South Central Virginia, so our plan is to serve South Central Virginia. Doesn't mean we can't serve somebody from Richmond or any other place, but our plan is to serve only South Central Virginia counties, and they are up there, as you can see. This is in our area, is that dark blue area down at the bottom. We have the worst health care outcomes of any region of Virginia, other than perhaps extreme Southwest Virginia and extreme Eastern Shore of Virginia. We have no facilities to treat addiction. We have to send, in my recovery court, we have to send people as far away as Virginia Beach, Richmond, and other places to get treatment. So this is a much needed location for a residential recovery program. There will be savings associated with this too. So right now it costs the county $120.69 per day to incarcerate a person. The daily cost of our recovery center is $57 a day. For one bed is $57 a day for one person. But what that person will also get is workforce training. They'll be trained for a job. They will be monitored. We will have personnel on our campus who are trained in addiction and who know how to treat these people to get into recovery. People do get into recovery. Let me just make it clear. This is not speculative. I've had the pleasure of serving as an adult recovery court judge now for almost 10 years. And I'll mention a little later, but we get 60% of our people in recovery. 60%. And 74% of the people who graduate from our program do not recidivate. They do not go back to jail. They are not involved in that circular pattern, that merry-go-round, if you like, getting them out, committing more crimes, right back in jail. So we have a good record of preventing recidivism and saving money. So that is. Let me go on. Oops, what did I do? Oh, here we go. So the county's daily savings with one bed is $62.69. So the yearly savings for one bed is $23,247. So if the county considered more beds, then you can see what the multiplier effect of that would be. That would be well into a three-figure number. Here we go right here. If the county did 2 beds, it would be a $46,000 annual savings. If it did 3 beds, it would be a $69,000 savings. I can't read the green.
92,000.
All right. So with 5 beds, it would be $116,223. These are people who would ordinarily be going to jail. So this analysis is not made about people who have no chance, who are not likely to go to jail. The people who we select for the program would be going to jail but for this program and but for the court ordering them to a residential recovery program such as ours. The overdose death rate in Halifax County is twice that of the state average. And that is attributable to fentanyl, which most of you all have heard about, which is the deadliest drug that you can get on the market. Every drug that's out there, when our young people try drugs now, experimental drugs, whatever, they're not just getting what they think they're getting. They're getting a combination of everything that's out there. And it's kind of like, it's sort of like a Russian roulette, but in the real in the traditional Russian roulette, we think about 1 bullet in the chain. But in this Russian roulette, we're talking about 5 bullets in the chain. So that is the odds that they will be either sickened very much or killed because of the drugs that are on our street, which are getting more dangerous every day. We have so many basement chemists these days who don't have any training about how to mix drugs like a real pharmacist. What a person gets one day and he thinks he's getting the same thing the next day is not going to be the case. He doesn't know what he's getting. And it's a recipe for killing our young people. The reason I started this, y'all, is that in 2012, 13, when I was a circuit court judge, we just had too many young people parading before me every Monday morning in orange jumpsuits who were not dangerous. They were just not dangerous. They were eligible for jail because they had been put on probation, and the judge said, don't use drugs. Okay? Telling a person who used drugs, don't use drugs, is like telling that person, go out and get some drugs. They don't listen to that. Their brains won't let them consider the dangerousness of what they're doing. So that's what we deal with. So by the time they do that 2 or 3 times in court, by the time they have 3 probation violations, these non-violent people are now incarcerated 2 and 3 and 4 years. Taxpayers are paying for this money. The non-dangerous people. And so it bothered me. It bothered me as a judge back in 2014, 15, whenever I looked at this, that if we keep going at the rate we're going, we're not going to have young people in Halifax County. Just end of the day. Now, what we're going to do about people who work at Hitachi and some of these other things? Where are you going to get the workforce? Where are the people? Frankly, it bothered me so much, I contemplated retirement before I did. Because I couldn't stand the thought of sending young people who were bright, who had potential, who could make something out of themselves, putting them in jail where there's no hope, where there's no treatment, where they come in contact with other hardened criminals and sharpen their skills. That doesn't make sense either. So this is a very worthwhile program, and it's going to do a great, I think, for our community. If we are successful with this, when we are successful with this, we will be the first community in Virginia, and not many in the country, where there is a place where people will be treated holistically, where they will get drug treatments, where they will get counseling, where they can be trained for a job, where they can get clinical care right on the campus, and maybe in the future dental program, as I indicated. So this is the savings that we project will accrue to the region, not just Halifax County. I didn't come up with this, okay? a group called the Fletcher Group, who is assisting us. They assist rural communities across the United States in putting up residential recovery centers. They came up with this. They had economists on staff and people, so don't take it from me. But this is what we will save over a 15-year period from having a residential recovery campus in our community. Can you all see the figures?
Yeah.
All right. $15 million in avoided criminal justice costs, $12 million in avoided health care costs. 275, ooh, that's a big figure, in reduced morbidity costs. So a total of $337 million is what we anticipate saving over that period of time. And this will result in a return on investment of $1, every dollar we invest in this, we will net a return of $8.31. So it's kind of like the old saying that we use sometimes, cliche, which is probably overused, and that is, it's a no-brainer. So the workforce development piece is a big piece in our efforts. We believe, and others who have studied these programs believe, that there is a significant economic capital in the pond. You get dad cleaning the house. The son is going to look at dad and see that he's now cleaned up. That's going to impact son. That's going to impact down the line. So we strongly believe that it's going to be a generational change as a result of this program. So the jobs that we're going to create are going to be what I call AI resistant, AI proof. You know, you can some jobs, and you all probably been reading about this later, a whole lot of jobs are going to be knocked out because of AI. It's unfortunate. It bothers me, it worries me. But we're going to train our people who come to our campus for jobs that are AI proof. You can learn how to fix a plumbing pipe, but AI can't fix it. Right? AI can't climb a tree and put up a line for a television cable or for the wiring that's being done by the programs now to run underground cable. They can't do it. AI can't do that. So we're going to create jobs for our people in fields where there is a demand for work and demand for employees. The impact of residential recovery housing is going to be significant in terms of mental health. 74% decrease in illegal drug use, 45% reduction in depression and anxiety, a 39% increase in recipient employment, and a 46% decrease in participant arrests, and 68% decrease in incarceration. All of these benefits, again, will inure to the benefit of the taxpayers in this community and will help the criminal justice system tremendously. So this is a photograph of our artist renderings. You all have seen this. I'm about to. You all have seen this before. That center building is going to be our residential recovery center. This is where people come in off the street. They come in for mental health. They come from a hospital referral. Doesn't make any difference. This is where they get treatment, counseling, medication if appropriate. We will get them in recovery. If my experience is anything, any indication to you, I promise you that we will get them in recovery. We get 60% of our people in recovery right now. The people we get in recovery, though, that 60% figure are people who got a decent home, they got family support, dad may have a job and help them out. The 40% of people we lose are people who live in dilapidated housing or are homeless. And it's hard for them to get into recovery or stay in recovery when they go back to the same neighborhoods where the buddies are, where drugs are pervasive. It's hard. And they do their best. They struggle to stay sober, but it's hard for them to stay sober. When that temptation confronts them, every day of their lives. The building to the right is going to be the workforce development program. That's where we will train people for jobs. We will collaborate with Southern Virginia Higher Education in coming up with a curriculum. The building over to your left is the 32 independent apartments where people will be able to live independently. They're well into recovery now. They will be able to bring the spouses with them, the children with them, whatever. Because part of our mission is to unify families, reunite families together. That's another view of the campus. That is a step up apart. We will have walking trails around the campus. We will have, we plan to have a large community garden where the people who have not gotten jobs yet, who are being trained for jobs, we will actually grow and give produce away to the people in the community. It's important to give them something to do. And we plan to do those types of things to keep them busy and keep the minds focused on recovery. We'll have such things as dance, yoga, dance therapy, may even have some equine therapy at some point. The importance of having a place that is calm is significant for recovery. They're away from the cities, they're away from the crowds, they're away from the activities, and drugs, and all of that kind of stuff. So we believe that the type of the environment will play a major role in promoting sobriety and promoting recovery. Folks, that's it. I'd like to tell you one story real quick before I sit down. And let me just say this. I am not a used car salesman. I'm not here to sell you on something that does not work. I've lived in this county all of my life. I've been a judge for over 30 years. My reputation is more important to me than anything in the world. What I'm telling you is that this works. And not only does it work, it saves money. And not only that, we are doing the moral thing. You know, I don't typically quote the Bible when I'm doing it, but I'm going to do it tonight, if you don't mind. Matthew 25, the 25th chapter of Matthew, verse 35 says, you need to help the least of us in our community. That's what he said. When Christ asked his disciples, he said, if you don't come to visit me when I'm in jail, if you don't come clothe me, if you don't feed me when I'm hungry. And of course they said, well, what have we done this to you, Christ? What have we done, Jesus? We have not done this. He said, well, you do it to the least of us. When you do it to the least among us, you do it to me. I'm telling you that we have a golden opportunity to do the right thing and save money. I thank you all very much. If there's any, I know I've overlooked my time. It's a great, I'm sorry. But I'll entertain any question that anybody has.
Is this a fenced-in facility, or
Sir?
Will this be a fenced-in facility, or?
I'm glad you asked that question, Mr. McDowell. This is going to be the safest place in the community. Okay? Let me just get that out. Now, why do you ask me? How can I say that? Number one, you're not going to have people with drugs scattered all over the community. Okay? You're going to be in one location. And everywhere I've gone, every residence recovery center I've talked with says that it's the safest place in the community. And the reason is that they're monitored, they're checked, and they like what they have. They don't want to give it up. I talked with one guy in Kentucky who runs a Kentucky place. The residents themselves give a list to the guard at the front desk. Says, don't let JoJo come here. Don't let Ron come here. Don't let me. They don't want those folk around them because they like being sober. And they like being trained for a job. That's it. So it's the safest place in the community. Thank you. Yes.
Judge, you may have shared the location. I don't know if that I heard that. I know where the location is. Can you share that with the board?
No, absolutely. It's going to be right across the street from Westside Village. We've acquired a 50-acre tract of land. I have talked with many of the residents of Sinai. Jimmy Woods, who is a resident of Sinai, was on our board. I have only gotten great cooperation from people in the community. And the reason is, I think, though, is that 2 out of 3 people in this country know somebody who's addicted. 2 out of 3. We got brothers, we got sisters, we got sons, we got daughters, we got cousins, we got whatever. And the thought of doing something to deal with that, to make that better, is what is attractive to the community. This will be an attractive facility. You've seen. I think it's going to put Halifax County on the map. I think it's going to draw people to this community. People are going to look at what we've done. They're going to see us be progressive in an effort to deal with drugs that are ubiquitous, that are everywhere. An employee who's thinking about coming to Halifax County is not coming from a place where drugs have not been used. I can tell you that. But what he is going to be impressed about is that we're trying to take the bull by the horn. And we're trying to do something about it. That's going to put us, I believe, in a special spot.
And the other aspect of it is that we're partnering with all the other counties in the region.
We're partnering with South Central Virginia counties. I've had an opportunity to meet with them. They all have given me letters of support talking about the issue in their neighborhoods, the problem. They welcome this effort. They're going to support this effort. And so it's a regional enterprise resource, as you indicated. And but the focal point is going to be Halifax County. Okay? This is where this wonderful campus will be built. This is where the people will come.